have Puello versus Matias. Terrific fight. Turkey Al Sheikh's enjoying himself. We are in the 10th round of 12. This is a classic boxer-puncher matchup between a southpaw and orthodox. Puello is the southpaw, and he's been the guy kind of moving around the edge of the ring, while Matias just keeps staying right on top of him, taking small steps. Great output by both fighters here. Puello takes the tactic of kind of backing up and moving to his left. So he's using his right jab to kind of keep himself moving away from Matias. But Matias just takes these very controlled small steps to stay right in front of him at all times. There's not been a lot of clinching during this fight. They're definitely not playing that jab patty cake game, which I'm really happy to see. Both men are they're throwing punches to land. They're not throwing punches to play patty cake. Now, the one thing I will say is, just optically, it looks like, may look like Puello's losing because he's the one that's against the ropes more than Matias, just due to his position in the ring. Here we go. Matias marches right to Puello. There was a sense of urgency in Matias' corner just before this round. But what I really like from Matias this fight is he's throwing these nice short little right uppercuts. And they're landing very effectively from mid-range to open up the rest of his combination. Both of these fighters are in terrific condition in order to be able to keep up this punch output. Here we go again. Matias just walking straight to Puello. Puello has his back against the ropes. Not sure what the ref is just warning Puello, but oh, thank you so much for saying hi. I'm glad we know the chat is working. Welcome to our live stream. We're watching boxing. Okay, and the crowd is going crazy here because this has been an all-action fight from the opening bell. I did start a stream, but had to stop it just because I wasn't sure if chat was working or not. Oh, and Matias gets one in just after the bell there. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. We are watching Puello versus Matias, and the next fight up is Stevenson, Shakur. Main event is Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz. That's the fight I'm really looking forward to. To be honest, I'm not that interested in Shakur Stevenson, but I really like both Shiraz and Berlanga. I think that's a very interesting matchup of styles, because Berlanga is more that real puncher and Shiraz is that classic boxer, especially with that ridiculously long, lanky build that Shiraz has. So we'll see. Well, I'm also curious to see how this new trainer, he's working with Andy Lee in Ireland now, so I'm interested to see how that shows up in the ring. Okay, here we go. This is closing rounds of Puello versus Matias. Both falling into clinch, kind of walk almost all the way across the ring in a clinch before the ref separates them. Again, standing toe-to-toe. This is terrific. Puello with a right hook combination. There's a lot of swelling on Matias's left side of his face. Can you see the game? I can't show you the fight because I'll get kicked off YouTube if I do that. Sorry. Okay, nice jab straight left by Puello. Matias is still right on top of Puello. Oh, nice right hook, lead right hook by Puello. Then he shells up on the ropes. Straight right opener by Matias. Oh goodness. Cuello's starting to tee off on Matias right in the center of the ring. This doesn't look good for Matias at the moment. How are you guys doing tonight? Thanks for stopping by the live. Are you guys boxing fans? Okay, right back to center ring. Jab straight left. Jab long left uppercut by Cuello. Matias still right on top of him, but at the moment Cuello seems to be getting the better in terms of firepower with his combinations. Matias walking him down. Oh, opens up with a nice left uppercut. I would say Cuello's winning this round at this point. This is the penultimate round, as they say. Are you guys boxing fans, or are you more UFC fans, MMA fans? Ooh. Okay, again, we got Cuello against the ropes, circling around. Fires a straight left. Matias is covering up well, but this is Cuello's round for sure. We got less than half a minute to go. Alright guys, we're here to talk about boxing or other combat sports. Right now we're watching Subriel Matias versus Cuello. We're fighting a 12-rounder. We're in the second last round. Last few seconds. We got one more round to go after this. Okay, if this is the first time you're joining us, thanks for coming by. If you're a boxing fan or an MMA fan, please consider hitting the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you know when we post our content and when we go live. All right, we're coming up on the last round of Matias versus Cuello. If you're joining us on the live, please say hi so we know who's here. All right, we got one more round to go. There is a cut. This is for the WBC Super Lightweight belt. Last round. So, Cuello opening up strong here, coming with some hard right hooks, straight lefts, still moving around the ring to his left. Cuello just really light on his feet, kind of dancing around the ring this last round. Matias kind of covering up and trying to work his way in, but Cuello is throwing more. I think Cuello feels confident. I guess that's why he's moving around like this a little bit. And then clinch up on the ropes. Ref separates him. Almost at the halfway point of this final round, Matias continues to walk towards Cuello, puts himself on the ropes. Cuello looks like the bigger fellow in the ring. Just bigger shoulders, bigger upper body. It looks like he's got more power than Matias as well. So again, now we got Cuello kind of skipping around the ring to his left. He's a southpaw, so that's to his open side. Doing a great job with, oh, nice little feint. Misses with the right hook. Clenches up with Matias. Oh, a really nice left uppercut by Puello. Oh, now he dips out, moves to his right. Very deft footwork in this final round, so you know he's in terrific shape. Matias tries to fire off a 4-punch combination, but there's just not a lot of power on those punches, especially at super close distance like that. Closing seconds, closing half minute of this 12-rounder for the super lightweight title. Matias just walking to Puello with his hands down, fires off a combination, but it's not quite enough to get the job done, I don't think. Here we go, 10-second hammer. And then punch up a little bit. Still punch. They're going to punch right to this last bell. Here we go. Oh, and that's it. I think Puello took this fight, but we'll see what the judges say. Are you guys watching this fight? If you are, let me know who you think won.
Ladies and gentlemen, back over to the kingdom of Saudi Arabia, who just announced his own Moses Itama to further cement his credentials as a major heavyweight challenger when he steps up in class and faces
Itama is going to face Dillian White. Moses Itama versus Dillian White. Middle of August, August 15th. About a month from now. You see quite a bit of swelling, plus a cut of the left eye of Matias. So according to the broadcast stats, it's about 60-40 in terms of the, I guess, the viewers who voted in on this. 60% say Puello won, 40% say Matias won. And let's see how the judges have this. And look at that. Turkey Sheikh is in the ring. Just gave Puello a pound. Thank you for joining us, guys. If you're here on our live stream, please say hi so we know who's here in the chat. It's great to have you guys here. This was a real fun fight. If you didn't get to see the whole fight, I'm sure Turkey will post it on his YouTube channel. He'll post the full fight, which is great. I love that he posts the entire fight. He doesn't just do highlights, you know, because I feel like those are always biased towards whoever the promoter's fighter happens to be. But Turkey, you know, I got to give him a lot of credit because he'll post the whole fight. He won't edit it. And here he is in his baseball cap, his white dress shirt. Now, who do you guys have in the main event? Edgar Longa versus Hamza Shiraz. That's the fight I'm really interested in. No diss to Shakur Stevenson, but I'm a little less interested in him. I see. So it looks like Puello's trainer is Salas, like the Cuban trainer out of I think he's in Las Vegas. The two fighters are acknowledging each other in the center of the ring, talking to each other. You see fans waving the Dominican flag in the crowd. They seem to have a lot to say to each other. That's very cool. They're all smiles, acknowledging each other's corner. You know, it's always good to see that. I mean, I think it's really corny that the live commentators always try to build up some type of rivalry. You know, they're trying to play up the fact that one guy's from Puerto Rico, the other guy's from DR, Dominican Republic. But, okay, so here we go with the official decision. Wow. 114-114.
Judges, Ron McNair and Tony Paolo are in agreement. They both scored the same, 115 to 113. For your winner by majority decision.
Oh my gosh, wow. 115, 113 twice. They gave it to Matias. I'm super shocked. Holy cow. I don't know, I thought Puello won that, but I don't know if it was just an optics thing or what that was, but Puello, I felt, did more damage to Matias. Incredible. Well, I'm surprised. What got me into boxing? Curiosity. I have been doing judo since I was a kid, and I just wanted to try something that, you know, judo doesn't involve any punching or kicking, so I wanted to try striking art. I tried karate for a little bit, but I just thought the karate tournaments were kind of strange with all these different rule sets, so then I just thought, well, why not boxing? Because at least there's only one set of rules for boxing because it's an Olympic sport, so that was it, curiosity. All right, I'm shocked by that outcome. I did not think Subriel Matias won that fight, but I'm not one of the judges, so my opinion doesn't count. Yeah, I would have given that to Puello, but you know, hey. All right, Pablo says, do I have Shakur winning tonight? Well, I'm not a big Shakur fan, but I mean, if it goes in terms of A side, B side, I think he wins it. Who's already somebody? Ace, Wolf, Peach, pugilist. Okay, so you're more into boxing than the MMA stuff. Is that what you're saying? All right. Did you guys think that Subriel Matias won that fight? Pablo says, I think Shakur will win with all the running. All right, so I don't like Mike Coppinger as a live boxing interviewer, but there he is in the ring giving the interview to Subriel Matias. Matias referred to something about losing and then people laughing at him. Okay, so now Matias acknowledges Puello. I don't know. Mike Coppinger always, to me, he always looks like he's got on a dirty diaper or something. It's like, what's up, dude? You know, he's well known. He was well known on Twitter for always breaking some news. You know, posting up a tweet on Twitter because I think he had a lot of contacts in gyms who would just snitch to him about stuff that's. Oh, hang on. Oh, so now he has, Turkey just asked Matias if he would fight. I'm not sure who this is, my fault, guys, but.
And just like that, the next fight has been made. Sergio, what do you think? Adonis Smith and Subriel Matias.
Is it Adonis Smith? That's funny. So Turkey walked this fighter into the ring and just asked Matias if he could fight him, and Matias, of course. What's he gonna say? He's on camera, he's got the belt over his shoulder. All right, so Turkey just made a match for Matias immediately following. All right, so what do you guys think? Do you think Shakur wins this? That's who's up next. Shakur Stevenson versus William ZEPEDA. All right, so I'm going to have to rewatch that whole fight, Puello versus Matias, to decide who really won that. I think Puello did more damage. but optically he looked like he was the one always moving away, so maybe that's why they gave it to Matias. All right, so now Matias shares a few words, I think, with the WBC guy, doing a little posing with his team for the camera, the ref, the fighter, Matias's trainer with the belt, I guess Matias's manager too, managers. All right, well, congratulations to Subriel Matias. I think they're both really great fighters. I just felt that Puello did a little more damage, but it was a very close fight, and so, you know, in all fairness, I would have to go back and rewatch the entire fight from the beginning if I wanted to score it. Right, who do you guys have in the co-main and the main? Shakur Stevenson versus William ZEPEDA, and Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz. I really appreciate you guys commenting here in the live chat. If you haven't yet joined our channel, please do subscribe and hit the bell so you know when we post content, when it's available, and when we do a live. So tell me what fights you're looking forward to coming up this summer, July and August. Right now we're between fights. We're taking a look at Matias. He's walking back to his change room, victorious, acknowledging folks in the audience. I think optically, you know, Puello paid a price for being the guy against the ropes, you know, I won't say for the whole fight, but pretty much the whole fight. That was the theme. But both men were throwing leather the entire time. So yeah, so difficult fight to score. But if you're a boxing fan, I think you do owe it to yourself to check out this fight in its entirety because there's so much action in here and great technical action. None of the sort of delay or stalling tactics that sometimes happen in a righty versus lefty matchup. All right, so now we're doing a little stand-up, not stand-up comedy, but commentary. We have Chris Mannix and a couple other, I'm sorry, I don't know who these other fellows are, but I guess they're just going to chit-chat and bring us into the next couple of fights. Are you guys more boxing fans, or are you more into MMA, or one or the other, or both? Pablo, I invite you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I think Ace Wolf Peach, I think I've already seen you on some of our other videos, I believe. Pablo, if you already have commented on the other videos, I apologize for not recognizing your name. If you're joining us on this live, welcome, thank you. My name is DHamaguchi. I'm a pro fighter. I'm a judoka, a math and physics teacher, so I enjoy doing these lives because I was planning on watching these fights anyways. So why not do it with some other boxing fans, right? And we can discuss the fight as it goes on. All right, so it's 11 minutes past the hour. I'm not sure how long these three guys are gonna blither on before they bring out Shakur versus William ZEPEDA. But we're in a little dead time at the moment, so love to hear from you guys. Tell me what fights you're looking forward to. Do you guys watch any of the UFC fights? Oh no. Chris Mannix just chimed in with ridiculousness. Mannix says that Matias had his pretty deep cut open, not right on the eyebrow, but just below the eyebrow over his left eye, because it's a righty-lefty matchup, so they're gonna smash heads on this side. Mannix is saying that Matias should be good to go in another fight in 8 or 9 weeks, and it's like, dude, no. First of all, he can't even do much with that cut. He's got to wait for that cut to heal. I mean, you want him to go. He just fought a hard 12 rounder. You want him to go back into camp 2 days from now, meaning Monday, to then have a full 8 weeks to prepare for another 12 rounder. It's too short of a turnaround time. Easy for Mannix to say, seeing as he probably has never done any boxing. Yeah, after that 12 rounds, that was a hard 12 rounder. That was all action. You need to let your fighter take a week off. He needs to let his brain rest mentally. Also, if he's mildly concussed, you definitely want to take a week off at least take a week off from the gym, period. Do something else, like, maybe if you like running, go for some light jogs, play basketball if that's what you like to do, go swimming, do those other things that you like to do, but stay away from the boxing gym just for that mental relief, and then at the soonest come back a week from now and just do some light work. But he can't start sparring until that cut heals. Anyways, that's just my rant about the ignorance of Chris Mannix and his t-shirt under suit wearing self. Alright guys, thank you so much. Those of you who are joining us on this live stream, I'm DHamaguchi. This channel is Hamaguchi Fight because we're devoted to the fight game. Although I do have a fondness for nature and for painting and whatnot, so those interests are also folded into this channel. Okay, so now we're doing stand-up with Sergio Martinez and another talking head. They're building up this Shakur Stevenson versus ZEPEDA fight, and they're telling us, it's interesting that all the fight promoters are now partnered with DraftKings, right? They're showing us the odds are Stevenson is a minus 1,000 favorite to win over ZEPEDA, who's a plus 500. So Pablo, I mean, the odds makers have him minus 1,000. That's pretty steep odds. Personally, I don't bet on fights. I don't know. Do any of you guys bet on fights? It looks like they're favoring Shakur to win by decision, because that's minus 200. Oh wow, how about that? Sean Porter has a deal with DraftKings. Good for him. Making that endorsement money. Alright guys, if you're here on this live, we're watching the boxing fights. Up next is Shakur Stevenson versus William ZEPEDA. I was just sharing with Pablo and everybody, I'm really not a Stevenson fan, but we will watch this fight because I'm really more interested in the Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz fight. I think it's an interesting matchup because we got Berlanga, who's more of a powerful puncher, versus Hamza Shiraz, who's a mover and a jabber, and of course he's got a crazy build, right? He's super tall, lanky, I won't say freakish, but a little bit freakish, right? Not quite as bad as Sebastian Fedor's freakishness, but so now they're advertising some weird movie with McFarlane versus oh, they're advertising The Naked Gun. I don't know. Looks like I'm going to give that one a miss. All right, you guys. This is at Louis Armstrong Stadium. I'm not sure where that is. I'm sure it's a venue that they just renamed. That's good. That's one that warrants a little research. Let me see. Because I believe Louis Armstrong lived in Queens. Of course, comes from the New Orleans area, or New Orleans itself, right? But what an incredible, incredible musician. He also starred in movies. I don't know if you guys have seen any of that, but let's see. All right, we're back to the three other talking heads. Okay, so all right, this Louis Armstrong Stadium, I think that's where they have the U.S. Open tennis, so that's in Queens. It's either that or is it where the Mets play? My fault. Okay, in any case, if they named it after Louis Armstrong, that makes me happy because at least they didn't name it after some corporate entity like, you know, I don't know, StubHub. Okay, I have no idea who these talking heads are right now as we await Shakur Stevenson versus William ZEPEDA. Are any of you guys watching this boxing card live? This is called The Ring it's taking place in New York. The main event is Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz. Hamza fought to a draw in his last fight. He was challenging for a world title. He since parted ways with Ben Trainer and joined forces with Andy Lee. So I'm really curious to see what adjustments Andy Lee has made with Hamza Shiraz, because I think he did a great job with other fighters such as Joseph Parker. I think Joseph really rejuvenated his whole career once he started working with Andy Lee. So that remains to be seen. But who do you guys have in this co-main event with Shakur and William? Shakur Stevenson versus William ZEPEDA. All right, we are now at 20 past the hour, so hopefully this gets underway soon. Hey, Big Dog, so glad you could make it. They should fine them for not fighting and that running would stop. That's funny. Hi, Big Dog. It's really good to see you. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you. Thank you for... I assume that you've already hit subscribe and hit the bell so you know when we're here, right? I appreciate your presence. All the running, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we as fight fans have to vote with our eyeballs, and I don't, you know, like, I think I'm showing that I'm not really a Shakur Stevenson fan, but seeing as he's the co-main, and this fight that just ended was a really great fight, that's why I started live. I was really just going to do a live for the main event itself, but it is what it is, as they say, right? So we got to kind of cruise from a great fight, Matias versus PUELLO, into this fight I'm not so thrilled about, and then move on to the main event that I'm really interested in. All right, so now they're talking about the World Cup, football/soccer. I don't know. This This is surprising to me because that last fight went the full 12 rounds. So they used up all the airtime. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that fight stopped short and now these guys are just trying to fill up dead space. This is programmed in dead space, and this is what Dana White points to when he says, you know, boxing is broken, because there is such a long gap between fights. And so, as fight fans, you're stuck listening to this chit chat, whatever. But while they're blithering on about whatever they're talking about, why don't you guys let me know what fights you're interested in coming up? Are you guys going to watch Poirier versus Holloway? It's Poirier's last fight. He's announced his retirement in advance. I already made a little short saying I always feel that's a bit of a mistake for any fighter to say that. You know, just keep that between you and your team. Don't let that get out there. Don't use that as a press release. You know, maybe you let the promoter know and let them, just in fairness, because maybe you're under contract with them and you still have X number of fights. So you want to negotiate, hey, look, I know I still got 3 fights left in my contract, but I'm feeling like this might be my last fight. So, you know, you can do that and you can keep it under wraps. I just think it's not a good headspace to walk into the ring of the cage knowing this is your last one, you know? Because then it almost gives you an excuse to just take an L and be done with it. Hi, Ankit. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing? Is it early morning where you're at, or is it late evening? Or I know you're far from the west coast of the United States, but appreciate you guys all joining us. My name's DHamaguchi. This is the Hamaguchi Fight channel, devoted to boxing and MMA, and also to things that go along with fighting. Oh, it's 7 a.m. Goodness gracious, you got up early just to watch fights. That's right, you're overseas. Yes, okay. So happy Sunday morning to you, Ankit. Alright, so now we're back with another set of 3 talking heads. Only one guy knows how to wear a dress shirt under his suit jacket. I would literally pay money to ban this idea of t-shirts under a suit jacket. At least Sergio put a handkerchief in his suit jacket pocket. But someone needs to give Chris Mannix some dressing lessons. Oh well. Alright, 25 past the hour. I guess they're gonna I guess they programmed in an entire 30 minutes of dead time. Which, shame on them for doing that. Okay, it looks like maybe we have Shakur Stevenson starting to walk out of his change room. Walking down the hall. Looks like he's wearing some bizarro leather ring outfit. Or it's just, well, I shouldn't call it bizarro, but he's wearing something that looks rather heavy. That's why I said leather, just because the material looks heavy. With a baseball cap. Always a stylish look, right? Okay, he's got Terrence Crawford right there with him. Someone else is holding up his belt. Hi, Jim. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We are awaiting the Shakur Stevenson versus William ZEPEDA fight. After that, we have the main event that I'm really interested in, which is Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz. Classic puncher versus boxer matchup. All right, so here we go with where the camera's cutting to William ZEPEDA. Puts on his sombrero. You guys remember the time that Floyd Mayweather put the sombrero on backwards? I don't know if he's trying to be cool, you know, put his hat on backwards, flip his lid to the side. But nevertheless, we got ZEPEDA in a white and gold outfit with a white and gold sombrero, making his way to the ring. Seems very calm, ZEPEDA. I think he's got his work cut out for him just because if it's a close fight, they'll give it to Stevenson. And as Pablo predicted, we might see a lot of running around the ring by Stevenson. We'll see. So being as I'm more the type of fighter that wants to throw hard punches, I'm not really fond of fighters who run around. I know some folks say, well, hey, you're supposed to hit and not get hit, but yeah, I think it's partly personality, it's partly just your physicality. But we'll see how this plays out. Jim says, I hope Shakur I hope Shakur's had his sarcasm and not hint to his game plan. That's funny. Oh, we got Michael Buffer doing the announcements. How about that? You guys think Buffer's had a little work done? He's got that kind of got a little work done face, you know what I mean? Like everybody who gets work done, after a while, they all have the same freaking face, like the cheekbone thing, the lips. It's kind of gross because men and women start to look the same. Anyways. All right, okay, so now they're doing a fancy walkout from William ZEPEDA. Yeah, I'm also not really fond of this thing they do where the fighter walks out by himself. I don't know, I just feel like that's a real break in protocol because I feel like, you know, you're going to war, so you want to walk out there with your team, you know, your trainer, your cut man, and if it's a world title fight, you get another person. You get 3 people. Okay. ZEPEDA stands on the ring apron, takes his hat off, acknowledges the crowd, steps to the ropes. Sombrero in gloved hand. Who do you guys have in this fight? I'm gonna root for ZEPEDA just to be, whatever, a contrarian to Shakur, just to be anti-Shakur. But like I said, reality-wise, if it's a close fight, they're gonna give Shakur the decision. I think any controversy, they'll you know, not only the ref but the officials will shift things in Shakur's favor, not in ZEPEDA's favor. Right, well, ZEPEDA's looking very activated in his corners, bouncing up and down. Looks calm, staying loose. His cornerman just outside the ropes, giving him a few little words. Well, that's probably his cut man, actually, or the second assist. Alright, hi guys, if you're joining us on this live stream, you're watching the Shakur Stevenson versus William ZEPEDA fight. Both fighters, well, Shakur is now about to make his way to the ring. This is the co-main event, and then in the main event, we will be watching Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz, and that's the fight I'm truly looking forward to. Alright, so here we got Shakur Stevenson bouncing around in his, I'll assume it's leather, just because it looks like a heavy material, sort of dark tan colored. Probably got the same people that Floyd Mayweather got to make his leather outfits. Totally impractical for boxing. I mean, I can't imagine how heavy a pair of leather trunks is, especially after you get it doused in water. There's no way you're not going to get water all over your trunks, because Cornerman's going to be throwing water on your head, down your back, throwing water at you maybe. So yeah, wet leather around your waist, even water to carry around. Am I watching UFC? Ankit asks. Well, to be honest, I checked out that card. I'm not super interested in that card, so let me see if I can open up that screen. Is that what you're watching right now, Ankit? Or are you watching boxing? Hey, we're just here to talk about boxing or MMA. This is not a dating service. Oh, Shakur Stevenson jacket says Big Newark. All right. Yeah, Ankit, no diss to these fighters. Not terribly interested in Derek Lewis versus Glover Teixeira, but let's see if we can catch. Are the fights good? Oh, Wonder Boy. Okay. Yeah. Well, he would be the exception. I do like Stephen Thompson. Okay. So, darn. All right. We're still waiting for this fight between Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda to get started. All right, we have Russ Amber working as cut man for Shakur Stevenson. He's the guy that makes rival boxing stuff, boxing gear. Or at least he's the one that started making it. I don't know if he sold the company or he's still a full-time owner, full owner of it. All right, so UFC, I see. Who do I see here? Somebody warming up in the corner. Vitor is warming up his UFC fight. Shadow boxing versus, who's this? Austin. I can't see his last name. Who's shadow boxing at a much slower pace. Anyways. Oh, so, all right. So Ankit is telling us he woke up early just to watch Stephen Thompson. Okay, I'll give you that. That's cool. All right. Now we have in the boxing side, we got Michael Buffer making the announcements. WBC featherweight belt. William Zepeda versus Shakur Stevenson. This is taking place in Queens, New York. It looks like we have, the fellow standing next to Zepeda has been a long-time person on the New York State Athletic Commission as one of the boxing officials. Can't remember his name right now, but I've seen him around a lot. All right, and they're announcing William Zepeda. Is his nickname Cameron Shrimp? got quite a few fans in the audience. They're very vocal. Now we're cutting to Shakur Stevenson, looking very lean and fit. Shakur smiles at the crowd, hypes him up. Alright guys, we are waiting for this fight to get underway between Shakur Stevenson and William ZEPEDA. Alright, and Shakur has Terrence Crawford standing in his corner. Not so sure that Bud Crawford will be working the corner actually, but at least his presence is there. He gives Shakur a pound, and two fighters walk to the center of the ring for the final instructions from the ref. Now this ref looks familiar too. I can't remember his name, but I'm assuming well, I shouldn't assume anything. Sometimes if there's a bilingual ref, they'll issue the instructions, you know, like during the fight, they'll issue instructions both English and Spanish, just out of fairness. To make sure, you know, the fighters understand whatever their command is. Okay, here we go. Fight's getting started. Alright, so Jim is saying that he is interested in seeing how well Teixeira can do against Derek Lewis on that UFC card. So they're the main event. I'll keep that screen open and see. We'll see what opens up here. Alright, right away we had ZEPEDA walk Shakur back into a corner. This is interesting because we've got two southpaws, so neither fellow has the southpaw advantage in quotations. Shakur kind of backing up a little bit, and for whatever reason putting himself in the corner. Something tells me that he's not going to get penalized like PUELLO did, you know, for if he has his back against the ropes. Right away, these guys are fighting pretty much toe-to-toe, more at mid-range, but literally their two lead feet are almost touching. Shakur's opening with some hard jabs. ZEPEDA good high double guard, blocking those punches, inching his way towards Shakur as Shakur backs up inch by inch towards the ropes. Shakur's kind of using that long posting jab. No, I'm not a fan of posting, but ZEPEDA doesn't waste any time with his jab right, jab left. Shakur with 1-2 and then a 2-3. Shakur with a jab to the body. ZEPEDA with a jab to the body. And they stand toe to toe. It looks like ZEPEDA's very, very happy to be there. Both men exchange jabs to the body. ZEPEDA's keeping a very responsible high double guard. He walks Shakur back to the corner again. Oh, and that's the round. Good opening round. Both fighters do get the action in that first round. At least Shakur didn't run all over the place, but something tells me he won't get like penalized by the judges like Puello did. I feel Puello got kind of, you know, penalized on the judges' scorecards because he was the one constantly moving backwards with his back against the rope. And Stevenson puts himself right in the corner, but I think he's going to get away with it. All right, so just trying to listen into the corner advice with Shakur's trainer, but just they don't block out all the ambient noise from the crowd, so it's really impossible to hear the corner work, unfortunately. Okay, right away, Zepeda's right on top of Shakur. Shakur's got his back against the ropes. He's towards the corner. Shakur throws some hard 1-2s. Then a left to the body to work his way out of the corner. Zepeda's just staying right on top of him, though. Shakur likes that kind of posting jab. Zepeda just caught him with some nice jabs by splitting the guard. Nice, yeah. Again, Zepeda lands a hard jab, splitting the guard. And at this point, Zepeda's got punch volume in his favor and accuracy. And Shakur's kind of using that very pawing jab, whereas Zepeda's using more of a penetrating jab to split Shakur's guard. I mean, if he can keep that up, he will open Shakur up for more punches behind that. Again, Shakur with a nice jab to the body, but Zepeda returns the favor. Shakur with a lazy jab and then a 1-2. Nice counter shot by Shakur. Just after Zepeda threw 2 body shots, Shakur threw a left uppercut. Interesting that Shakur is standing toe to toe with Zepeda. Again, Zepeda throwing a higher volume of punches here. Shakur is mostly shelling up with his high double guard and then looking to throw back a jab left hand. Oh, good body shot by Shakur. I think we got to give that second round to Zepeda for sure, but no doubt the judges may or may not have already filled out their scorecards, so who knows. And we're cutting to Clarissa Shields with her baseball cap on backwards, yelling. And now she's yelling at the camera. I'm not really that interested in what she has to yell. She's got this like upset look on her face. Don't know what that's about. It's a backwards baseball cap with all the bling and yeah, interesting outfit. Anyways, okay, again we have Shakur with that posting jab, moving backwards. Something I don't like that habit at all. And ZEPEDA just stays on top of him. High double guard. Shakur's missing with some wide hooks. And he's really using a lot of those real lazy jabs. So if ZEPEDA can time that or catch it, Shakur could be in trouble. And again, Shakur backs himself up into the adjacent corner of the ring. ZEPEDA's keeping up his responsible high double guard. Oh, nice body shot uppercut by ZEPEDA. Right shot to the body, then straight up the middle, the uppercut. Okay, in the cage we have, oh my goodness, I can't read the names. Is it Lane and Petrino? Something like that. Sorry. All right. Okay, now we're in the center ring, but Shakur's always taking these small steps backwards. It's kind of an anti-fighting type of tactic. And now he walks sideways and puts himself in the corner, pivots out. 4-punch combination by Shakur. I'm not sure if he's trying to emulate Floyd Mayweather. I don't know what. Oh, now ZEPEDA catches him in the corner, and that shoulder roll, you don't have enough space to shoulder roll in the corner. So hopefully ZEPEDA can take advantage of this moment where Shakur put himself in the corner. He's staying in the corner, using these wide sweeping right hooks. So ZEPEDA has to be in outstanding condition because I'm sure he knows he's going to have to keep up a ridiculous pace for this fight. All right, so James Y. No thanks. All right, now we got Shakur right up against the ropes, and William is just picking away at him. Shakur's landing some decent hooks. Oh, but he keeps missing with a very wide sweeping right hook. ZEPEDA is super persistent, high double guard, definitely throwing a greater volume of punches than Shakur. Yeah, ZEPEDA really hurt Shakur there with the jab from when Shakur was stuck himself in the corner. Buckled Shakur's legs. That could have been called a knockdown because, the argument is if the rope's what's holding you up and preventing you from touching the canvas, that could be called a knockdown. So arguably, ZEPEDA, that was a 10-8 round in that third round. Okay, here we go. Back to the center of the ring. We're in the fourth round. I think we definitely have to give the second and third rounds to ZEPEDA. Shakur again puts himself in the corner. I'm not sure if he's, is this just like a mental thing where he's like trying to be like Floyd? Back up, do the shoulder roll, counter right, counter left hand in his case. ZEPEDA is just so consistent with that high double guard. Nice live feet when he wants to create distance. He just bounces a little bit and comes right back in. Again, got Shakur right on the ropes. Shakur's trying to use that Philly shell to roll away from the punches, but and beautiful straight right uppercut to straight left hand by ZEPEDA. Again, right hook by Zepeda. Catches Shakur. Shakur's not doing himself any favors by staying in the corner like this. Oh, and in the cage, we just had a sub by rear naked choke. I think that was the Brazilian fighter who just defeated the American. Sorry, Ankit, I'm not really paying attention to the UFC right at the moment. Because it looks like Zepeda is starting to pull ahead here a little bit versus Shakur. So do we have an ups out? Yeah, and Shakur's just trying to do the Floyd Mayweather Philly shell, lean back in the corner. Ridiculous. Such a bad tactic. It's really an anti-tactic. It's like what you should not do. All right, now he works his way out of the corner. Lands some good jabs to the body. But thus far, you've got less than a minute to go. It's definitely Zepeda's round, or it should be. You know, that Philly shell is just not working for Shakur. He's bouncing around a little bit more now. Puts himself in the next corner. Zepeda just keeping up that volume. Shakur keeps missing with a wide right hook. All right. Good left uppercut by Shakur. But it takes more than that to win this round. We got less than 15 seconds to go here. Zepeda's just keeping up a really nice, consistent pace. Shakur cuts one way, and then he cuts back the other way, and that's the round. Oh. Well, I hope they don't rob Zepeda, but so far I have him ahead 3 rounds to 1, but I don't know how the judges are going to score this. All right, now we are cutting to Hamza Shiraz in his change room. Wow, so they have Hamza the favorite. He's minus 155 and Berlanga's plus 125. That's very interesting. And here we are cutting to Edgar Berlanga in his change room, getting stretched out. Hamza being very brave, coming all the way to Berlanga's backyard to fight him. All right, back in the ring. Battle of 2 southpaws, Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda. Again, Shakur puts himself in the corner. All William has to do is just follow him along, and again, Shakur's in the moves along to the next corner. Zepeda obliges him, unloading like 7-8 punches. Shakur's firing back 1-2s, and then his right hooks. Unfortunately for Zepeda, I think he's going to need to do something really big in order to get even a draw here, because I just think, you know, the writing's on the wall. Again, Shakur's taking these steps backwards and jabbing. Makes no sense to me why you'd want to teach someone to fight like that. And again, he's still missing with that wide right hook. Posting with his jab, moving backwards. Now he's in the other corner again. Moves along the ropes with his jabs, then walks back to the corner. Trying to do the Philly shell in the corner, and then clinches up. Zepeda walks him down. 2 body shots, or rather, 2 headshots to the body shot. Shakur moving side to side along the ropes and then puts himself back in the corner. He's trying to confuse Zepeda maybe with his lateral movement, but that Philly shell is not working very well for him because Zepeda's still able to catch him. Shakur posts off Zepeda's head and pivots out of the corner. Now he's working his way around the ring. He's on the opposite side of the ring. Zepeda's unloading combinations. I do understand that the aggression has to be effective, but you know, it's hard for me to, it's hard to argue that Shakur's offense is effective. Again, he's throwing out posting jabs, backing up towards the ropes. Opens up with a 4-punch combination. ZEPEDA just weathers the storm, so he's right on top of Shakur as Shakur tries to move side to side. How are you doing, Ethan? Now they're standing toe to toe. Shakur shelling up on the inside. Doesn't look like Shakur knows how to fight on the inside. Oh, got caught with a hard jab by ZEPEDA just as he was trying to create a little more distance. And that's the round. All right, I have at most 1 round for Shakur Stevenson. Something tells me the judges are probably going to give him the majority of the rounds, though. I explained in my breakdown with Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios, you know, why, in terms of money, why the commissions and the sanctioning bodies want the person with the bigger draw factor to win the belt. So that'll be available to everybody in a few days, so please do check that out. I broke that breakdown up into chapters, so if you just want to hear the part about, you know, boxing business, you can scroll through and click right to that section of the video, but it'd be great if you listen to my whole breakdown of Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios. So if you haven't yet done so, please hit the subscribe and the bell so you know when the content becomes available. All right, here we go. Back to action in the ring. We are in the 6th round. So we're in the second half of this fight already. Stevenson versus ZEPEDA. I do have ZEPEDA up if we score this fairly. Not only has he landed some more effective punches versus Shakur, he's definitely been the more active fighter. In fact, I think he could have been given the knockdown because he wobbled Shakur, and Shakur kind of was held up by the ropes. Again, Shakur's using this pawing jab, but not such an effective, he's just using touch jabs. And he tries to swing his straight left, or he'll throw a sweeping right hook, which tends to miss. It's almost like he throws his punches to post off his opponent so he can come around the other way. They're not punches meant to punish the opponent, they're punches meant to help him maneuver. It's like, how can I win this fight by doing as little as possible? Okay, good, nice 4-punch combination by Shakur. It's like the crowd is going wild every time he does one thing. All right, so ZEPEDA comes back with a nice effective jab to the head. Jab to the body, jab to the head. Shakur trying to use that Philly shell in the corner. Another nice jab by ZEPEDA. Again, Shakur coming alive a little bit now in the second half of this fight. He is putting together some rapid-fire combinations. All right, the men fall into a clinch. We have about just over half a minute to go here in this 6th round. Good 4-punch combination by ZEPEDA. Very lazy jabs by Shakur as he backs up again. I don't know. I really wish people would stop trying to copy Floyd Mayweather. It's like he's wearing the Floyd Mayweather leather trunks and he's trying to do the Philly shell. Neither one of those are great ideas, but you know, Floyd Mayweather got away with it. Still doesn't make it a good idea. All right, and that's the round, 6th round. So we are in the second half of this fight. I would bet that judges are definitely going to give that round to Stevenson just because he was more active. All right, who do you guys have next Saturday in Usyk Dubois 2? I will be doing a breakdown of that fight. So again, please do hit subscribe and the bell so you know when our fight breakdowns get posted. And of course, that's going to be a heck of a weekend, right? We got Manny. Oh, first we'll have Usyk Dubois. I think it's going to start earlier in the day for me, like maybe 11-ish or 1 in the afternoon. Then we'll have Manny Pacquiao, Mario Barrios, and we'll also have the UFC fights. So the main card for Manny versus Mario starts at 5 Pacific time, and the main card for the UFC, which is Dustin and Max, that'll start at 7 Pacific time. So it's going to be a long one next Saturday. Hope you guys are, hope you're up for it. All right, here we go. 7th round of 12 for Shakur Stevenson versus William ZEPEDA. And again, we got Shakur using very very pawing jabs. Philly shell. Shakur bounces back and bounces back in. William is just sticking to exactly the same pace, same guard, standing right now to toe. And here, you know, I think Shakur's inability to fight on the inside is pretty apparent. He throws one body shot there that lands on the belt line. Lands a good left hand there. Every time Shakur does one thing well, the whole crowd goes crazy. Okay, good 1-2-3 by Shakur Stevenson. Back to the Philly shell and jumping and leaning back. ZEPEDA is just consistently staying on top of him, advancing forward, double high guard, body shot, jab right by ZEPEDA. Jab to the body by ZEPEDA. 6-punch combination by ZEPEDA. Now the Shakur fans will argue, well, these punches just aren't effective, but then the counter argument to that is, well, what is Shakur doing that's effective? So it's almost as if, you know, sometimes when a fighter is very inactive for the first half of the fight, and they start becoming much more active the second half of the fight, even if they're not winning the round, it's kind of an optical illusion because they're doing more, so the judges might think, oh, they won the round, they're doing so much more than they were doing before, but it's like, oh, they still didn't win the round, they just did more than they did before. So you think it's that much more than it is in terms of volume. All right, here we go. Now we're in the center of the ring. And yeah, Shakur can't fight on the inside because all he can do is shell up. I mean, ZEPEDA could really take advantage of that inability of Shakur's, you know, since Shakur can't fight on the inside. If he would use a little more small angles on the inside, I think he could really frustrate Shakur. But, you know, that's up to him and his corner to call that one. So, thank you guys. Welcome to our live stream. We're watching boxing. I'm kind of halfway watching the UFC. Hopefully Ankit is still here. I know that he's tuned into the UFC. I've got my eye mostly on boxing. I'll kind of take a sideways glance at the action in the cage as it goes by. Okay. Okay, ZEPEDA's corner was imploring him to keep his hands up right at the end of that set of instructions. Okay, here we go. Round 8 of 12. So we have 5 more rounds to go here. Something tells me ZEPEDA needs to do something really big in order to get a draw. Okay, they're standing toe-to-toe, kind of pushing against each other. See, Shakur's still trying to use that shell defense on the inside, and then he only fires off punches when ZEPEDA moves back a bit. So this is where ZEPEDA should go to work, because, yeah, Shakur's just using a touch jab, jab to the body. I would like to see maybe a little more feinting action from ZEPEDA. Again, Shakur misses with that right hook, really wide. Nice jab, short hook by ZEPEDA. Again, Shakur still sticking with that Philly shell, just leaning back as his defensive moves. Again, Shakur stepping backwards, throwing out a lazy jab, and then he'll throw out a hard one too. I think ZEPEDA needs to change it up just a little bit. If he's going to fight on the inside, he needs to angle off, take some small steps so he can get to Shakur's body, get right up the center line. Nice weave under by ZEPEDA. Oh, nice jab, left hook. Okay, good work right there by ZEPEDA. Good body shot. But Shakur's catching ZEPEDA after ZEPEDA moves out just a little bit after they're standing toe-to-toe. It's in that moment that Shakur's able to catch him. Again, good work by ZEPEDA. Shakur backs himself up into the corner. Here's where we can expect ZEPEDA to go to work. Nice jab by ZEPEDA. Shakur's just putting up his double high guard, switching to his shell guard, letting ZEPEDA tee off, and then Shakur walks off the ropes, stands toe-to-toe. And that's the round. 7 rounds. Yeah, I think ZEPEDA needs to throw a little bit of a change up here in the boxing ring. Again, like we already know, the scorecards are going to be filled out in Shakur's favor. I would say ZEPEDA needs a knockout to win, or stoppage to win, you know, and he needs to hurt Shakur in order to get a draw. So I think that was already known before he even got in there. Okay, so in the highlights, we showed Shakur landing a nice straight left, but now we just showed ZEPEDA landing a nice straight left and a very solid jab. Right hook, straight left. So if we were going to score this fairly, we would say ZEPEDA is winning, but highly unlikely it's going to get scored fairly. All right, we are in the 9th round. We've got four rounds remaining here. Okay, again, Shakur's on the ropes, very close to the corner. ZEPEDA's, Shakur almost threw a knee there. All right, Shakur with a 1-2-3, then a post pivot off ZEPEDA's head. ZEPEDA with a nice jab. Shakur with a very nice left uppercut. Shakur with a posting jab, backs up towards the ropes. Oh, and a nice jab left hand by Shakur knocks Zepeda's head back. So, judges tend to score that, because it's a big optic, right? If you can knock someone's head back. I feel like Zepeda, he's been responsible about keeping that high double guard up to walk forward, but I almost feel like if he incorporated more weaving motions, he'd open himself, he'd be able to get some body shots off, which would serve him well, and somebody like Shakur Stevenson. So I'm a little surprised that he and his camp didn't work on that a little bit more in this, to get that going in this fight. Oh, and Shakur just landed a nice straight left hand. Oh, Zepeda flurries with some 1-2-1-2s. Shakur back in the corner with his Philly shell. Does a little slip and dip, rolls under and out. Back to the palm jab. Four-punch combination by Shakur, and he walks away. Zepeda gets off a good solid jab. Again, Shakur with the semi-shell, just walking along the ropes, puts himself in the other corner. Nice body shot to uppercut by Zepeda. Oh, and that's the round. Incredible volume and output by Zepeda. He's got to be in terrific condition. Try to see if we can hear what he's saying. Wow. All right, we're seeing a good 1-2-3 land for Stevenson there, with that right hook sneaking through, and then a good power jab getting through. All right, so I would give that round to Shakur, in all fairness. On Shakur's side, it would be good if he could get a stoppage, just because I think he probably endures a certain amount of criticism for his running, as or just it doesn't feel like he comes to fight. But again, here we go again. Shakur moving away, putting himself into the corner. Shakur shells up to let Zepeda throw his punches while Shakur tries to counter punch. Zepeda follows Shakur around. Shakur back in the corner. At this point, it's been most Shakur. So I don't know if Zepeda is starting to fade a little bit from all that output. Right? Shakur walks along the ropes, puts himself in the other corner. Walks along the ropes, goes to the next corner. Zepeda firing off jabs, and Shakur's just waits and then throws the counter after Zepeda stops punching. I feel like Zepeda needs to use a little more feinting or change the pace up a little bit, because Shakur has a read on his pace at this point, his tempo. Again, Shakur just walking away along the ropes, puts himself in the next corner, then cuts back along in the other direction, puts himself in the next corner. Zepeda got off a bunch of jabs on Shakur while he was in the corner. Now they're in the center of the ring. in my opinion, it would serve Shakur well to get a stoppage if you can, just so it can kind of shut those of us up who criticize him. He has 3 rounds to get, or well, less than 30 seconds in this round, and then 2 more rounds to get that done. Okay, the men are now toe-to-toe in the center of the ring. But see, in these moments where there's no action, that's where ZEPEDA needs to take advantage of, because he is losing the last couple of rounds for sure. Now Shakur's starting to use his feet and run. Shakur decides to run in the last 10 seconds of that round. Alright, now we're cutting to footage of Hamza Shiraz and Edgar Berlanga in their change rooms. They are the main event that we're waiting for. Okay, in the cage, looks like it's mostly a striking fight at this point. I apologize, I'm not familiar with these 2 MMA fighters in the UFC cage. Okay, in Hamza's room, change room, he's working the mitts with Andy Lee. Okay, we are back in the ring. It is the 10th round of ZEPEDA versus Stevenson. Again, Stevenson puts himself right in the corner with his Philly shell guard. ZEPEDA fires off his punches and they clinch up. Ref separates them. Pawing jab by Stevenson. Backs himself up into the corner with his Philly shell. ZEPEDA stays right on top of him as Shakur moves along the ropes. Jab to the head, jab to the body of ZEPEDA. Hi Jays, how are you doing? You think, do I think Turkey's happy with Shakur Stevenson's performance? Well, he's going to walk away with the decision, so he's going to use the whole Floyd Mayweather argument, so you know, he's still a draw factor, so you know, like I said, it's about the boxing business. So it's more about the business than it is about the performance sometimes. I think Turkey will be happy with William ZEPEDA's performance because he came to fight. But the judges are going to give this fight to Shakur. Again, pawing jab by Shakur. Right here, see, ZEPEDA needs to take some little half-step motion so he can shift the angle quickly and suddenly and nail Shakur right down the center line. So I do kind of criticize ZEPEDA's corner or team for not, you know, coming up with a tactic to use on the inside because Shakur can't fight on the inside. Right now we got Shakur just walking around, Philly shell, putting himself in the corner, then he sidesteps along the ropes, he's just trying to make ZEPEDA look silly right here because he's like, you can't catch me type thing. All right, again in the corner with the Philly shell. It's almost like they custom picked ZEPEDA for Shakur because he's the type of fighter that's always going to come forward, always going to be firing punches. So, I mean, he's a legit contender, but, you know, kind of perfect for Shakur because it doesn't look to me like he has enough power, at least this division, to really take advantages of those little moments. All right, in the UFC, it looks like we have, again, still most of a striking war going on here between, is it Charrier and, sorry, I Can't pronounce the other fellow's last name. Yeah, so Shakur's starting to pull away for sure on the cards in these last few rounds. I think they're gonna score the majority of the rounds for Shakur, even though I don't feel like he won some of the earlier ones. Right, can't hear any of the corner work. I wish the commentators would stop talking so we could listen in, but that's just me. Okay, here we go. Again, Shakur with a pawing jab, backs himself up to the ropes, cuts around the other way. Gosh, is this the last round? Yeah, well, ZEPEDA needs a knockout. Shakur just starting to tee off on ZEPEDA. So the ringside score has it 107 Shakur, 102 for ZEPEDA. Nice jabs, power jabs by ZEPEDA, but he really needs to do something big, open up in this 12th and final round. If for nothing else, to show everybody, show the world that he really wants this. Okay, because Shakur's got himself in that Philly shell in the corner, just swinging away and missing with his sweeping right hook. Nice little right uppercut, or left uppercut rather, by Shakur. Walks into ZEPEDA, pushes him back. See, this shows you Shakur can't fight on the inside, but that's where ZEPEDA should be taking advantage of the situation. So I think Shakur knows he has this fight. He just has to close this out. Not fighting with enough urgency for me. ZEPEDA's just, because he came out with at such a high pace, it's hard for him to snap into another gear. But that's what he needs to do. He's got about a minute left to do that. Again, Shakur puts himself in the corner. Jay says, cannot wait for Usyk Dubois 2. That will be the fight. Yeah, that's really going to be the fight. I don't think Manny versus Mario is as interesting a fight technically, but it's the one that's getting more attention, as some of us were mentioning on one of the shorts. It's like Usyk Dubois isn't just not getting as much attention, it seems, from fight fans for whatever reason. Okay, and Shakur with his pawing jab, Philly shell, lean back, counter left, misses with his sweeping right hook. Power jabs from Shakur. Oh, showboating a little bit, dropping his hands to his thighs, and that's it. Shakur goes right up on the ropes in the corner to acknowledge the crowd. ZEPEDA's kind of walking around with his hands down. The body language there, I think, tells you he's a little bit, I think he knows he didn't win this fight. All right, in any case, something tells me the cards are going to give it a wide sweep for Shakur, even though that's not really how it was. I mean, I did feel he won the later rounds, the second half of the fight. I feel, in all fairness to ZEPEDA, he should have been given credit for a knockdown because Shakur fell into the ropes, or stumbled into the ropes, and his butt would have hit the canvas if the ropes weren't there. But I'm not the ref, and I'm not the official scorekeeper, or judge, rather. right, now they're the commentators are talking about punch stats, which is doesn't always tell you the story of the fight itself. All right, yeah, I bet you they're going to give this by a very wide margin to Stevenson. You know, ZEPEDA needed to hurt him. Oh well. I bet they give like 10 rounds or something. And there's going to be all sorts of comments on social media about Shakur, and he's going to clap back as all right. So ZEPEDA and Shakur shake hands briefly. Oh, now Shakur has a different outfit for post-fight. He's got a black and gold outfit with a crown on the back of his black coat or jacket. It looks like Charrier won in the UFC cage. Sorry, I'm probably mispronounced his name completely. Shakur is all smiles. He knows he won. 118, 110. 118, 110. Oh, 119, 109. So, yeah, two guys gave Shakur like 10 rounds. One judge gave Shakur 11 rounds. Wow. And for whatever reason, Claressa Shields with her backwards baseball cap is all smiles. All right. Guys, here's what I'm going to do, because of how YouTube works, I don't want to continue this stream on for another hour for the main event, so I'm going to have to stop this stream and then restart it. So please come back and rejoin the stream. I'm also going to take a little bit of a break myself. I suggest you do the same. Go get something to drink, get something to eat. But I will restart the stream, so please do rejoin us. It'll be the same thumbnail. It'll just say like part 3 or part 2 or whatever. Yeah, I guess part 2, right? It'll be a part 2. So that will start shortly. Probably, give me maybe 15 minutes or so. Yeah, so please come back. Hit subscribe, hit the bell, so you know when we post content, you know when we go live, and please come back for the second part of this live stream. We will definitely cover Berlanga versus Shiraz, and I will keep the UFC stream open as well, and so something exciting happens in the cage, I will bring that to your attention. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this stream. Come back very shortly for the next part of this live. I'll see you in a few.